Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another episode of Intuitive Angling, and thank you very much for making some time to check today's video out. Always grateful for that. And guys, today we're going to be giving tips and advice on fishing the big oversized jerkbaits, the ones that are larger than the normal size out there, because there are definitely situations where these things are what you want to be throwing, and they are very situational. So I'm going to go over in detail about what the situations are when you want to throw an upsized bigger jerkbait in today's video. Also, guys, real quick, just a big thank you out there to everybody that's been hitting that subscribe button for Intuitive Angling. Much appreciated. If you guys like the video, to hit the subscribe button and like the videos and hit that notification button so you don't miss any. So much appreciated. Okay, guys, I'll show you the difference here. Here is just a typical Megabass Vision 110. This is a 4.5 inch long jerkbait. This is sort of the size of most jerkbaits out there. This is the typical size of the average jerkbait. And here's like the Megabass Canada next to it. This is a 7-inch long jerkbait. You can see it's quite a bit longer. It's got a wider profile. The backs are a little bit different on there. And here is a 110 LBO, which is quite a bit bigger than the 110 here. So, you know, different companies make different sizes of jerkbaits, but here are the two biggest that Megabass make. This and the Edo Shiner is a large one too. But specifically, I want to talk about the big ones today, like the Canada and these big giant 7-inch jerkbaits. And also, guys, I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. If you guys want to get you a couple Canadas or situations, you'll definitely want a few of these in the box. So I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description for that jerkbait there. Now, when you're talking about big jerkbaits, guys, the situations have got to be right for them. Not only the situations have to be right, but the bass have to be in a certain type of mood and personality for them to go for something like this. Because when you're talking about a large 7-inch jerkbait, this is a commitment for a bass to hit. Now, I've caught a lot of like 13 to 14-inch bass on this size of jerkbait. In fact, if all the bass that I've caught on big jerkbaits out there, I have caught big ones on it, but I've caught just as many fish under 2 pounds on a jerkbait like this as I have anything. But regardless of the size of the fish, a 7-inch jerkbait it takes a big commitment for a fish to hit that. That's why when you upsize your jerkbait size, or you upsize any lure size, the number of bites that you are going to get on that bait simply goes down. There's a couple different reasons for that. Number one, we talked about the commitment fact of it. And number two, the larger the bait is, the more that a bass really has to steady it before they hit it. You can't really get the same type of reaction strike out of a big bait as you can a little one. You know, let's take for example, like a small little, finessey type spinnerbait like this that moves real fast along the water, or even a regular jerkbait that's really darting hard side to side. When you're dealing with smaller baits, fish are a lot more opportunistic, and they're a lot more ready to bite something out of that opportunity because it doesn't expel as much energy. There's not as much risk involved to it. But when you start talking about something that is probably half the size of a fish that you can catch on this, sometimes the fish are a little hesitant. They go, man, do I really want to tackle that or not? It's like in the natural world, the predators have to size up their prey. And a lot of times they don't want to take on a prey that they think may be a little bit too big of a challenge. So that's one of the reasons. Now, here's the situations where the big jerkbaits work. I have found that there's 2 windows during the course of the year where you want to have a large jerkbait on, and they both revolve around the certain type of water temperature and sort of like the certain stage that the fish is in. The 2 times that I really, really like a big jerkbait is number one in the early post-spawn, specifically like maybe 2 to 4 weeks after most of the fish are done spawning in the lake. So here in Missouri, say for example, most of our fish spawn in the mid part of April. So for me, the big jerkbait window is going to be in that May time frame. Also, there's a little bit of a window in the late pre-spawn. That can also be good if you have the right water temperatures. And then the second time that it works really good is in the later fall time, like the month of late October, November, and into December before the water starts getting cold. So what you're looking for is you're looking for water temperatures sort of between maybe 60 to 70 degrees. That's when your best fishing is going to be on a large jerkbait. If you try to throw one of these big honking jerk baits in the middle of the winter time, you're not going to hardly catch nothing unless you're maybe fishing down in, you know, South Texas or something where they don't have the same type of winter. But if you take a big jerk bait to any man-made impoundment across the country where the water temperatures are below 50 degrees, you're not going to catch many. And on the other side of the token, if you try to take a big jerk bait and fish it during the summertime when the water temperatures are like over 75 or 80 degrees, you're not going to catch much on it then either. Again, there's different factors that determine that. But the thing that you want to look for is that water temperature, you know, in that zone that we're talking about, sort of that 60 to 70 degree range is going to be really perfect. The next thing with that is you have to have the right combination of the type of day and the water clarity. The big jerk baits are going to be a lot better in a little bit cleaner water. So you need water visibility of, like, I'm going to say at least 3.5 feet. My preference on it is like 3.5 to maybe 8 foot clarity, combined with the right type of day. You've got to have a prefrontal day for the most part, guys. You need a south wind or a west wind. You need a steady or falling barometric pressure. Clouds are a big thing. You really need to have some clouds. You need to have at least 80% cloud coverage. Wind is critical too. You got to have some wind, and all that stuff has got to play into roll together here. So what I'm looking for is if I go out there, say the second week of May, and it's you know, maybe it's a cloudy, rainy day, maybe I got like a 10-15 mile an hour south wind, I got water visibility of 4 or 5 foot, I am looking to throw a big jerkbait. This is perfect scenario with that. That's when your bigger fish are going to be more aggressive and they're going to be after this thing. Now, the type of areas that you want to fish a big jerkbait on are places that are close to deep water. Because when you're fishing a big jerkbait, guys, you want these fish to be able to come up on this bait and not get a real good look at it. You don't want to fish this bait like in real shallow water where those fish have to come horizontally on it. So what I'm looking for is I fish these things over deeper structures like bluff banks, channel banks, you know, deeper points, places where this thing stays up a little bit higher in the water and those fish have to come up on it. Now this Canada, I usually fish it, this is the only jerkbait that I do fish with a bait caster. I usually fish it on that Mega Bass Jerkbait Special. Most of the time I'm using 15-pound test Seaguar and VizX. And this thing's gonna run probably down into that 5, maybe 6 foot range on a long cast. But most of the time when I'm fishing a larger jerkbait, I'm fishing it at a fairly fast clip. You guys know that you talked to me before, or you guys that have listened to many of my jerkbait videos, you know that I'm not a big fan of the jerk pause, jerk pause. The only exception is with a big jerkbait. This is when I do use that more traditional jerk pause. So I'll throw it out there, I'll reel it down, try to get it down in a hurry. And once I get it down deep, I'm working it pretty hard, like jerk pause, jerk pause. I don't want the fish to get a good look at this bait. It is so large, I'm trying to purposely make it hard for them to keep up with it and get a good look at it. I don't want to, you know, make it suspend and stop. I don't want to work it slow like I do my traditional jerkbaits in the wintertime. I want this thing darting around hard, because I have found in all my time fishing a large jerkbait that you don't get too many bites on it when you're fishing the thing really slow. I have on very few occasions, but for the most part, I'm working that thing at a pretty good clip out there. Also, guys, for y'all fishing up north, this Canada is a killer on big smallmouth. You guys, all you dudes that fish the Great Lakes up there, all the northern smallmouth waters that are predominant smallmouth, get you a few of these Canadas, and those big smallmouth will bite these things. So anyway, that's just a few foundational tips for fishing these big jerkbaits. Again, I'll put that Mega Bass Canada link in the description of the video if you guys want to pick up some. And it's a fun way to catch them, man. When they hit that thing, they usually clobber it when they do get it. So I really enjoy fishing it when they're biting it. So hope it helps, guys. We'll talk later.